Hello vinyl community, Bradley here. Thought I would do an outside video here. Hopefully the wind will not blow into the microphone. I'll give it a try though. I've got 3 albums to show today. One of them is a fairly new album, and so I will show that one first. But stay tuned for the other 2 also. First album, it was released in October of 2018. It is Christian McBride's New Jawn. This was recorded in St. Louis, I believe. It is a double album, 2 disc, probably about 60 minutes of music. I will tell you who's on the album. As I said, Christian McBride, which he's a bass player, a jazz bassist, probably one of the best bass players alive today in any genre, I would imagine. On sax, you have Marcus Strickland, another fantastic musician. On drums, Nashit Waits, and on trumpet, Josh Evans. And these guys sound excellent. Going back to the title, New Jawn. What the hell is that? Supposedly, this is Philly speak, Philadelphia speak. Jawn, I guess, refers to, it's short for person, place, or thing. I don't know. But Christian McBride, he's probably put out, I don't know, 15 at least albums under his own name. I'm not sure how old he is, probably mid-40s. He's appeared or recorded like 300 albums as a sideman. He has won 6 Grammys, and he's played with everybody. Rock. I think he played with Bruce Hornsby for a while, or for a few dates. And I think he still hosts, I think it's NPR radio maybe, Jazz Night in America. And he is the host on that. So anyhow, I will very, very briefly go over just a few of these songs. Like I said, it's a 2-record set. All kinds of influences. This is modern jazz, contemporary jazz. First couple songs, a little, I don't know, maybe a little more avant-garde. Excellent sounding though. Well, maybe I won't go over each of the songs. Basically, I'll tell you, this group has a lot of influences. In some of the songs, I can hear Eric Dolphy influences, Mingus influences, Sonny Rollins, as far as Marcus Strickland sax playing. Josh Evans, he's got his own unique style, but he can sound a little Freddie Hubbardish, which is really good. So, and right now I think Christian McBride, he's like in 5 groups, you know, at the same time. He's got different types of groups. I think a trio, and this particular one, and you know, a few other ones. So I would say overall, I would probably rate this well over 4 stars, maybe 4 1/4. or maybe 4.5. I don't know. It's a real solid album, and there's a lot of music on here. So if you want to get into some of the modern jazz, that would be an excellent choice. Okay, let's go to the next album, which I'll try to take the covers off of here without them flying away. As I said on some of my previous videos, I've been getting into purchasing some of the original Impulse releases, early ones, which is fine. Now when you go for some of the really top selling original Impulses, well, you know, they're going to cost you a lot of money. So that's where I go with the reissues, which this is a reissue. It is on Impulse, which is Impulse Verve nowadays. Sonny Rollins on Impulse. And this is also I think, an Elemental music in conjunction with them also. It is a gatefold. It is not the super laminated as the old Impulse releases were, but it's a pretty good package. It's got the old Impulse spine there, orange and black. Now this, Sonny recorded, I think, 3 albums for Impulse, and this was his second one. He recorded it in July of 1965, and it was released, whatever, a few months later in 65. Rudy Van Gelder is the engineer at the Van Gelder Studios. Like I said, this is the middle Impulse album that Sonny released. The one right after this would be when he did the music for the soundtrack to the film Alfie, which that is also on my list. So on this album, you've got Sonny on tenor sax, Ray Bryant on piano, Walter Booker on bass, and Mickey Roker on drums. Sounds excellent. And this was during, you know, Sonny's stage where a lot of times he would not have piano in his group. Sometimes he would have a guitar doing the chordal accompaniment, but in this one, it's just sax, and he does have piano on this one. But it's still a little stripped down, but it's that Sonny Rollins sound, which I absolutely love. This was a few albums after The Bridge, and I think What's New or whatever. But I love Sonny Rollins. It's can't go wrong. And these, it was a really nice reissue. Very happy with that. Now the last album I have, it is also another Impulse reissue. Whoops. It is not a not an original. It's a reissue. I've been listening to this album on YouTube for a long time. So what took me so long to get it, I have no idea. This is John Coltrane Quartet, Crescent. Like I said, this is on Impulse. This was recorded in July of 1964 and released just a few months later. It is a gatefold. Pretty nice package. Now I believe that, yes, okay. I just noticed something. See that picture in there? This is the original picture that was in there. Well, that actually is the cover, what would become the cover of John Coltrane's next album, which is Love Supreme. This has liner notes by Nat Hentoff. Excellent. Musicians, it's Coltrane's Quartet. So you got John Coltrane on tenor sax, McCoy Tyner piano, Jimmy Garrison on bass, and Elvin Jones on drums. Like I said, this was recorded right before Love Supreme, which many consider Love Supreme maybe, who knows, maybe the #2 jazz album of all time. Now, I absolutely love Crescent. It is like so, I don't know what you call it, relaxing, meditative, mostly. And this was setting the stage for what Love Supreme would be in the next album. Now, what I'm going to say will probably offend a lot of jazz purists. It seems like everybody considers Love Supreme a fantastic album. To be honest, I had the hardest time ever getting into Love Supreme. It took me a while to get it. Well, I think I get it now, but I'm still not that much. It's not one of my favorite albums. Crescent, to my ears, this is one of Coltrane's best albums. It's one I like most, I believe. And that's just my opinion. Because I grew up on the Beatles, and you know, if somebody would tell me, if they would kind of say, well, Sgt. Pepper's, that was not that good, you know, I just can't get into it. As a Beatles fan, I would become offended and say, like, what is your problem? Now, I'm saying the same thing about John Coltrane. But that's just my opinion. I really I love this album. It's got 5 songs on here. I believe all of them are Coltrane original. It's a pretty cohesive album. There is one song, the last song on the first side, called Bessie's Blues. It's only 3 minutes long, and it's more of a swinging song. So it sounds a little out of context on this album, but it fits in perfectly, in my opinion. It just gives it breaks the album up just a little bit. So, really good songs. The first song, title song, Crescent, just beautiful intro. It's almost like kettle drums or something, or tom-toms, I don't know. Then McCoy comes in. The second song is just truly beautiful, called Wise One, 9 minutes long. Great McCoy Tyner. Then you have Bessie's Blues. On the other side of the album, Lonnie's Lament, excellent. You have a long bass solo by Jimmy Garrison. And the last song on the album is called The Drum Thing. It's like 7 minutes long, and it's probably 85–90% Elvin Jones, and doing kind of like a drum solos. Sounds really good. Of course, Elvin Jones was an amazing player. So anyhow, these are the 3 albums I'm showing. Like I said, the Sonny Rollins and Coltrane are reissues. Beautiful packages. Sounds great. And the Christian McBride album is a new one. Modern contemporary jazz. So if you want to check out some modern sounding stuff, it'd be an excellent album to get. So I believe that's all I have to say today. That looks like the sun's getting a little cloudy here. So till the next time, this is Bradley. See ya.